Mann, leading Emiy, served over 20,000 youth through speaking, coaching, and mentoring. He has inspired us for years. Welcome to Emiy TV Podcast with your host, Calvin T. Mann, the Encourager.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. This broadcast is brought to you by Huntington Bank, TCF, CNS Healthcare, Emiy Apparel, your inspired journey. We will continue to do the work. This is 2022. What's up, Bug? Glad to be back.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We here.
Man, let me tell you something, brother. This has been an incredible off season. Took a break. Of course, it was Heather's birthday. Happy her birthday on the 28th. This is 2022. We got a nice little schedule going on, and I wanted to make sure that we, first of all, I said, Book, it was interesting. I said a number of people does not know who Calvin Mann is, right? They know Calvin Mann, they say the community, that type of thing, but they do not know actually who Calvin Mann is. And considering, I said this year that one, I would be more, it's time for me to start sharing my story. I figured 15 years, what does the process look like? Who are you, so to speak, right? Where did you come from? Who is Calvin Mann, right? And the reason why I'm having this conversation is because I think it's important for me to start sharing my story. And part of that, I guess, really opens up chapters, windows, things I've gone through, but I'm going to stick with this first half, the 15 years of Encourage Me, I'm Young. Right? And that in itself is amazing, right? Because believe it or not, this is the complete storybook. When I walked into an office, when I sat down to get the nonprofit, right? Here's the information. Here's the booklet. It's 2007. Just helped a young man in West Bloomfield get off of video gaming, get up, take action, right? Because the video gaming phenomenon 15 years ago was already an issue, right? And so this is 2007. I mentored this young man. This young man gets up. I would love to see this young man again, right? He gets up and he takes off. Mom is happy, and the young man is doing his thing. Mom then gives me Encourage Me, I'm Young, and said, you're going to need this. In that process, she took me to meet this other lady, and the lady, she gave me these instructions. Write every day. Write in your journal every day, because what God is going to do for you, right, you got to be prepared for. because what you have in front of you is not ordinary. And she saw, and they saw, and so they asked me to journal. And so I began journaling, right? And when I started journaling, I had this, this old computer, and I had no idea. So some friends of mine, Jay's Fades and different people like that, got together and was starting Better Detroit Youth Movement. So we would meet, come together, put together this process, Better Detroit Youth Movement. Well, I had the nonprofit. So we used the nonprofit. I even connected them so they can get a nonprofit. And so this is how these things came about. So 2 years in, right, the first year, navigating, had no idea what a nonprofit was, right? Many people expect miracles. There were people who come into your life that expect you to know everything. I didn't know nothing about nonprofit. As a matter of fact, Book, I didn't know nothing about business. I had no idea. I was coming from labor. I had literally lost my job where, I was a pretty good person. I always have been a decent person. And so I was working at Northwest Airlines, and I literally lost that job, as I told that story a number of times, right? In the meantime, my home life is in turmoil because I chose God. See? And so here, all these things are happening. 2007, all these things are happening. I'm in a whirlwind. I have no idea what purpose is, nothing. I get the book, Purpose Driven Life. I dive into the book. My uncle writes a poem called Encourage Me, I'm Young. We do a youth march, Better Detroit Youth Movement, my man Chief, Corey, my Uncle Don, Clarence, we all barbecue, raised some money. People from different areas gave checks. We fed 300 people. We gave out free massages. We're on the east side of Detroit. So we gave out free massages. We had JIT competition, and all these things were taking place. And in that process, I have no idea what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine, myself and Ty Watts, we got wind where we could get a stage, a mobile stage, a moving stage, and we went to this elder man's house over there in Boston Etiquette. He lets us Boston Edison, and he allows us to get this moving stage. I use my man's truck to move the stage. Again, I know nothing, right? Now, my backstory, what I come from, is a lot of success. I come from a lot of success of coaching. I come from a lot of, challenges. But that's just 2007, 2008, right? Meanwhile, which I started laying shirts in 2004, where kids was getting killed. So 3 years into that, I wasn't even keeping count then. You see, so 2000, here we are, 2007. I get a nonprofit, have no idea. 2008, I have no idea. But it was time. At 2009, it was time for me to navigate the vision that I had been writing, Bug. Right? See, when you're journaling, you are writing about things that is happening to you. You're also writing about things that's coming to you, ideas and concepts and many things. I still have my little red book. It's the one thing I didn't lose in the divorce. The little red book. It was in a box. I thought it would have been destroyed. There's poems in this little red book. This is when I first started. If you saw this, it was like incredible. Uniforms. I designed uniforms. I did all this in this little red book. I had poems, quotes upon quotes, right? And this became the beginning of this vision, but I have no idea, right? And anybody out there that want to call in, that was a part of that. You can call in. Of course, he'll put the number up. But as I'm going through this process, I'm remembering we did with Better Detroit, we did fashion shows. We did the parent. I was so emotional when I met Andre Nichols. We did a parent-child initiative at Cody High School. I was so emotional about what was happening to kids. When I came on the stage, I was in tears. I couldn't even talk. I looked out into the audience, right? Very few parents. A friend of mine that day, right, as we were doing the parent-child initiative at Cody High School, right, a friend of mine, right, got robbed right in front of people where it didn't look like they were being robbed. The guy had the gun hid. So they got robbed this day. She comes busting back in. Oh my God, we just got robbed. At an event, parent-child initiative, helping children at Cody High School. Andre Nichols, who's still a friend of mine till this day, Andre Nichols had to take over. My uncle, people was on the stage. I'm an emotional male because what, Book? I've been laying shirts with kids be getting killed. I can't believe that we have a murder rate the size of the Atlantic Ocean in our culture, and I'm just blown away. In my mind, nobody was doing anything at the time, right? And so what do? I had no idea, Book, because remember, I got this nonprofit. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? I'm just study writing. And as I'm writing, this vision is being laid out. Right? So here we are, 2009, 2008, 2009, boom. I cut the TV on season 4, Ron's house. My T-shirt's on Ron's house. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. So Russell Simmons asked, hey, send me a proposal. I take $200 from a friend, and we have this proposal put together. Well, the proposal was a sham. Like many things that get done with people, sometimes people is just hustling, and they'll take your last $200 to hustle you, which I don't know, so it's a blown opportunity. See? So, again, here I am, back at home, drama. Oh, you this and back and forth. And it's not happening. And you looking at your kids and you looking at people, because guess what you said when this first happened? You say, I'm going to be rich, right? Because you don't have no idea what it takes. But you like, I got this great idea. Well, the true story is I had encouragement. I'm young in 1992, working in an all-white daycare because I couldn't understand why we used the N-word. So I was young, coaching basketball. So I took this job at this daycare center. I wanted to see what the difference is in raising the children. What is the difference? See? So God then blows open the door and gives me these words, encourage me, I'm young. So we take that, we take it up to the high school, we put it on the basketball team, and all of a sudden, kids are flying out of the school going to college. We got college coaches sitting at our basketball practices, watching our kids coach. We got a 3.2 grade point average, GPA, study table off the charts, the number one concession stand in high school sports. We banging. Right? That's 1992, 93. Right? Even there, some challenges. I still don't know what I'm doing, Bug, because you gave me a nonprofit. I don't know. I had no mentor. Everybody that came along really came along. I'll bring this, but you got to give me this, right? In exchange. But no one had the wisdom of business, and then the people that did have the wisdom of business, they didn't see me serious. Because I was just anxious about the T-shirts and the messaging and what God was doing to me, I was just anxious. 2009, 2010, I take a job at the juvenile. Now I no longer work at Northwest Airlines. I got to move. I lose all property, houses, everything. Now I got to move. We move into a house on Burt Road from a friend, and I have to take a job at a juvenile. I literally had just put in for it, and the director from the juvenile lived right next door. So God sent. So what do? I take the job at the juvenile. Right? In the juvenile, they want you to do these things, all this other stuff. In the meanwhile, every time I cut on the news, all I saw was death. What you gonna do? Meanwhile, I got kids, I got bills, I got the whole nine, but this purpose thing is driving me crazy. It won't let me rest. And I remember getting a call from Jay and him telling me, you know what, man, if you ain't gonna, and I was like, Jay, man, come on, man, I got to do what God told me to do, brother. So I branched out. Here we go. I'm on my own now. I don't have supportive system. I don't have no anonymous. So 2009 is when I drive into Vanguard and I meet Heather. So this is when I first meet Heather in 2009, and she helped write the first program. So in 2010, here I am, the juvenile. They're picking up kids on the Ritz. What do? I'm still laying shirts, throwing money into this valley, trying to bring hope to families through T-shirts with affirmations, and they're not buying them. So I'm literally planting these seeds, giving them away. Meanwhile, I meet Heather, I drive in, I got my kids with me. I had just heard her on the radio. I pull up in the Vanguard, and literally, I bust through the door. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm in tears because this passion won't let me do nothing else. In the meantime, between coaching, I done helped coach the middle school to 2 straight championship games, right? We got kids getting ready to go off to high school. My son is going to high school. He headed to Farmington Harrison High School. Deontay and Torian went to Orchard Lake, right? Meanwhile, the numbers, we still turning kids and putting kids in places in position for the opportunity. So I take you back to 2010. I don't know. Right? This is when I began to get more information. It was when I met Heather. Right? And once I met Heather and I shared the information, we then developed the application process. In the application process, we tried in several areas. We're going to bring these applications. We're going to bring the people. We're going to get the boys, right? We're going to help these families. We're going to do all this stuff. There's no fee. I don't know where we pulling money from. I was pulling it out of my house. Of course, I've been selling T-shirts for 20-some years, so I was always printing for other people. So I'm pulling money. I'm not putting money all the way in the house. I'm putting money in the house and in the community. I have no idea what I was doing at all. So now we at 2010, that's 2007. That's 3 years into this nonprofit game. Now, there's a lot that took place. I had several people want to come do business. People try, I want to partner with you. Yeah, I'm interested in T-shirts. You got to give me 50%. All of that, but no skill to the table. But you just got to give me 50%. Oh, you got to give me this because I did this for you. You got to give me, it's at least worth 25%. None of us knew shit, excuse my language, about business, right? But I just know you got to get this to me because I did this for you, right? And a lot of that continued, right? And then 2011, we grabbed 350 boys on the east side, right? And we brought them in a number of ways. I partnered with a brother, and this brother had the little league football team and things like that, and we partnered, and we went to pulling kids, right? I can go in my email and pull it up right now. We pulled the kids. We had numbers. This is when he showed me how to read a budget. Of course, I didn't have a budget to read until we came together, right? And so we started learning. And so, conversation got a little deeper. While we got 350 boys, Michigan State was doing a mentoring program where they would give $100 to a male who would mentor. So if you mentored a male, Michigan State, through choice, downtown would give you $100, right? So if you had two males, you got $200, right? I guess it was some kind of program. So we brought the guy over. Well, if you're doing that, come look at this. So we showed him 350 males. I laugh about the 350 males because one of the guys that worked at the juvenile, they called him Rev, right? And he was always in the gym barking on the juvenile kids, right? And he's gone, hey, Rev, I want you to come over here and work these kids out. And he came over to the gym, and he saw how many kids was in that gym. He was like, yeah, oh, Joker, you really going to do it, huh? Yeah, we got a bunch of kids in here. I want you to work them out. I want you to do what you do at the juvenile. I want you to do it here, right? Because we need more male energy. All right, let me go to my car. I'm going to get my stuff, and I'll come right back. He never came back. I never seen him again. Like, if I saw him, I'm just going to laugh at him. He never came back. He never came up. None of that. All right? So, here we are. As you learn through this process, this your vision, bud. You got to paint it. Right? So, after that, I have no idea. In between that, bud, so in between 2000, look at how my memory is coming. So in between us getting that 350, my man, we got an invitation to come to Highland Park High School. Jared Davis was the principal. We came over, we did a speaking engagement, the whole nine, and I have no idea, again, I had this vision. My Uncle Don was present. My son Cam, he was a little guy. Better Detroit was there. Jay did his thing, right? He came on stage, did his thing. He was very comfortable at what he does, right? So I'm watching him because he was very comfortable. It's something that he had been doing, right? And Ray and Jay and all of them. And then, we had the T-shirts, and I made a promise to the kids, and once I finished speaking, Jared Davis said to me, Calvin Mann, I'd like to give you the whole sophomore class. What can you do with them? Right, so here I am, unfamiliar territory, have no idea what I'm doing, but you hear me? Right? But because of my coaching experience and all those coaches' clinics, see, when I was young, but I was going to coaches' clinics by myself. I would go to a coach's clinic. I had a Cutlass Sierra that leaked on the windowsill. And so here I am, 20 years old. I'm driving to Cleveland, Chicago. I'm going to coaches' clinics because coaching was something that was important to me. So I had to learn because I had poor coaching myself. So I had to go to these coaches' clinics to see what's the secret, what's really going on, right? And so when I was going to these coaches' clinics, I literally got to sit with Bill Walton 101, Guy Lewis, and I spent time taking notes with these people. And I'm talking about just like me and you sitting in this booth is us, one-on-one, and I ain't got nothing but questions. I couldn't believe that my dream, this is how small the effort it would take to make a connection with a with a college coach to expose your kids is not a difficult thing. We try to make it just so big and super, and it's not a difficult thing. Going up to a college coach when you got talent and people around you, that's not hard. People like to make it sound like it's, it's not hard. Why? Because college coaches are always looking for talent. So it's not a hard sell, right? And so in that process, here I am at these coaches clinics, and when I got the girls' head basketball at 23, I was like, you know what? I'm taking the whole staff. We're going to the coaches clinic. So then me and my uncle collaborated, and this is my uncle's goal. And so the boys and the girls coaches, we go to the coaches clinics. Eyes were open. Information was learned. Plays, assets. This is why I know about the triangle offense. This is how I know the intricate parts of the triangle offense, because I studied it and I watched it. In some areas I used it, but in most cases you got to have intelligent ball players. We miss that whole concept when it comes to basketball. The triangle offense takes IQ, intelligence, and being repetitive in drills. That whole thing is centered around balance. The same move you make to the left, you can make to the right. The same pivot you can pivot on the inside, you can pivot to the outside. The same plant move you can get 3 steps out of without it being traveling, the same thing. This is what the triangle offense teaches you. So it puts you in these positions so you can secure the ball in a triangle format. Right? This is where we miss the ball game and misunderstanding the argument between LeBron and Magic and Michael Jordan. LeBron watched basketball, developed an IQ, and came into the NBA with a system that he's been running since high school. He knows he's going to be guarded 3 times. So what does he need? Shooters. Spot up shooters, right? Because he going to penetrate, dish that boy. I need you to hit the shot. I need you to hit the shot. I need you to hit the shot. Guess where you get that formula from? The triangle offense. Actually watching Michael Jordan them, because what is the offense? If Michael penetrate, he kicks it to who? Shooters. Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, Scotty. That's what he was doing. So all he did was, in high school, I know 3-4 people going to check me, so I got to run the 1. So when he got to pro, I'm running the 1. I don't have a system. I don't have a great coach like Phil Jackson telling me and giving me these books like he did on the Mother Boys. You see what I'm saying? I don't have a great coach. This is what I saw work. Now here's how I'm going to put it together. Because I saw the women, but people don't even pay that no attention. He just not good. You know, that type of thing. But in that process, I went through these formats. I went through sitting in the room one-on-one with Jerry Tarkanian, learning, constantly learning and talking and sharing. I spent the whole hour. I followed him to his room. So I learned certain things. In this process, it educated me on how to handle young men. Because coaches have to learn to handle young men. Same thing. Right? So in 1992... and back when I first started, when I walk in the gym, my brother's in the gym, Cornell, and my cousin DJ's in the gym. And my first game I ever coach against is against Stan Gooch, who coached Flint Central, and I won. The first time I ever coached, I won the first game. I won. And I was bit. I beat a giant. Tough situation, call time out the whole. And I was bit. So fast forward to now. Some of the same things I was doing back then, I used the same ambition to get to where I went. How did I get to Russell Simmons? How did I do these things? Right? But God had a different plan. Because after I read the Purpose Driven Life book, my life shifted dramatically. People I I have always been an outgoing, very confident, jovial, laughter, cocky. I get that from my parents. So I've always been this way. I've always had swag. I ain't never not had swag. All my brothers, we got swag. It's in our DNA code. It's something that is natural that we have. We can downplay it, we can humble it, but when we close the door and it's me and my brothers, it's nothing but swag. From the oldest to the youngest. So sometimes people see that and think that's arrogance, and it's not. It's just who we are. It wasn't that I was arrogant at all, but I'm not a pushover. And because I have a certain discernment in my gift, there are things you're not going to be able to get by playing games with me. I'll leave you right there. That's just who I am. I've changed in a lot of ways, right? And so I continue to process 2011, 2012. Me and I meet Rodney Jones, we got 200 boys. After we lose the gym on the east side, Rodney Jones entered the picture off of Facebook. I'm cutting hair on Schoolcraft. Pastor Heyman Cross is right there at Rosedale Park Baptist Church. I'm cutting Heyman Cross hair. I don't know. All I did was ask for a gym. Heyman Cross had been coming sitting and listening to our conversations at the barbershop and listening to the ambition. But I don't know he's a pastor. So I post on Facebook, I need another gym. Rodney Jones respond, hey, we got a gym. So when Rodney Jones, I meet him, I say, oh, this around the corner. He walks me through about 150 yards up. He said, come on, I'm going to introduce you to the pastor. 150 yards up, I see a man hit the door. He say, yeah, that go the pastor. I said, man, cut that out. Is that right? And we walk up. I was like, man, you ain't even tell us. You was a pastor, you the church. Rodney, he said, oh, young fella, welcome. And they open their door, and me and Rodney, we grabbing kids, 200 boys. Not once, not twice, 3 times. And that's when we come together with Beverly Green, Ray Weiner, Shaka Shakur, Otis Bellinger, a number of community people, and do the Man-to-Man Youth Summit. Now, at the Man-to-Man Youth Summit, which was held at Rosedale Park Baptist Church, right? We lock arms and take a pledge. Ray Weiner's got a bunch of kids, bring them. We got a bunch of kids, and we're talking to over 200 kids. A number of other people. Jay was there, Better Detroit. It was sponsored, food. Beverly Green went out her way. We put this whole event together, Man-to-Man Youth Summit. Dr. Ray Johnson, who ran the Paul Robeson School off of Linwood and Finkel. Dr. Ray Johnson, he there. So what do? I asked that they lock arms and take the pledge. That we would do what we needed to do to help these young men and all young men and help do a better community. So that's what we did with the Man-to-Man Youth Summit. Right? At the table to build the Man-to-Man Youth Summit was Dr. Ura Hill, what's my name? Herb Strathers. Right? We were meeting at the hotel on East Grand Boulevard, West Grand Boulevard, the hotel on the corner of Woodward. So we were having our meetings there. Right? So when people talk, right, it's always what done for me lately, right? We've been in the process. Another story for you, brother, that goes along with this. Malik Yakini had the bookstore on Livernois. He was the first to let me put Encourage Me, I'm Young t-shirts in his store. There are so many stories from the land church with kids getting killed and all of that in 15 years that it was paramount for me to kick this year out, because the best way to look at it is we on a mission. Games is not to be played. If you have not bought, if you don't have Encourage Me, I'm Young, like you got all that other foolishness in your house, if you don't have Encourage Me, I'm Young, I guarantee you by the end of the year, if not next year, there will be a major difference. It might happen before then, but you should have Emiy apparel in your home. The words alone will not allow you to rest. I've seen story upon story upon story upon story about what we have and what we've done just from the product standpoint, how it has made a difference in 7, 8 other countries. Right from here, from a trunk. I remember laughing. People laughed at me about Encourage Me, I'm Young. I remember all of that, right? And here we are, 15 years. I should have laid down. I should have laid this thing down. Based upon the fact that I had no knowledge, I should have never accepted the nonprofit. 2013 and 2012, 2013, and here we are, Pancake Breakfast. Z. Ramel Pace, who helped create Thaw. I meet her because my son's mom, my oldest boy's mom, is working. She introduced me to Z. Ramel Pace. At this time, I don't know that Z has brain cancer. But she comes to the table. I can show you how to do this. I can put you in this position. We can help you. I love what you're doing for the boys. Why we don't do enough for our boys? But the fact that you are, me and my family and my husband, we gonna show you how to do the pancake breakfast. So 2011, 12, we host the very first pancake breakfast off of Chicago and Linwood at the Salvation Army. Z Pace, her husband, and a few other people. We had my girl Peace come do some poetry, right? But we brought resources to the community. Here's some information you should know, you should be involved in, the whole nine. That was our first. Z Pace and her church, the Old St. Cecilia, where on the inside, if you ever been to the Old St. Cecilia, on the inside of the Old St. Cecilia, there is Black Jesus embedded in the walls. So she and that church will host the biggest pancake breakfast. So I say to her, I want to host the biggest pancake breakfast in the Midwest one day, just like you. I'm getting emotional. Z Pace shares she got brain cancer. So we do another pancake breakfast. We do the second one, and she disappears. Right? Husband tells me, so we gonna do a bowling fundraiser in her name after she passed away. We set up the bowling fundraiser. We put it together. We get permission from the family, and then no show. They don't even come. The people say they're not coming. People I was in touch with, they decided they're not coming. Z Ramil Pace is a legend, right? If anybody in the community know anything about community and giving, Z Pace helped start Thaw. I get a call to come visit because my name is the only name she can remember. So the family, the husband, reach out. You got to come say, you got to come see her. I'm bringing something to him. And so my family, we pull up to the house somewhere beautiful on the east side, beautiful home, and invite me in. As I come in, right, and the husband says to me, you got to come see her. Her name, your name is the only name she can remember. Come on, and takes me upstairs. Whew. When I get upstairs, that exchange in my life was there for me to never stop. When I walk through the door, she says my name. She knows who I am. And is half the woman that I know. And she says to me, you can never give up. Promise me you'll never stop. I love you. It was one of the toughest moments in this journey to stand there and experience that moment with someone who knew they were dying. I don't have all the bells and the trinkets. So after that, the pancake breakfast was on. And we continue to do the pancake breakfast, and we bring in the pancake breakfast back this year. And we going to do it big with the whole community. And we're going to have kids. We're going to have performances. We're going to have people. We're going to have sponsors. We're going to have these things, and we're going to bring the information to the people. And we're going to expand it. We're going to expand beyond the city of Detroit. We're Oakland County, Wayne County, Macomb County. We're going to diversify. We're going to expand. We're not here for just anybody. Our job, our work. God didn't give me a vision of division. I wasn't never given a vision of division. It is people who have their bias who come and say things and inbox me and know the type of person that I am, and they still are concerned and inbox me. There are people that say, you're not this and you're not that. It is amazing to watch the division speak to the collective. I was born to unify. I've been a unifying people since I was a little kid. Bringing the whole block together at 8 and 9 years old, teaching dance routines. I've always been trying to bring people together. Always. Even when I was playing basketball, as I said yesterday, I was recruiting in high school for guys to come play with us, although we had a horrible coach. Our coaching was horrible. So I had to apologize for even trying to recruit them into what we was dealing with. I said, cuz, I'm sorry. I had no idea. I just wanted to have a good team, somebody to throw alley-oop to, a three. I didn't realize that I wasn't going to get to do that because I had a horrible coach who couldn't do what I do. Leadership is an innate in some people, and you can turn people into leadership, and you can diminish leadership in people as well, and you can take people's dreams. One thing that we're about, we continue to be about, 2015, 16, and 2016, when we launched the Respect Day, it was because we could see that respect was a missing element within the communities across the globe. It wasn't just the black community that don't have respect. It's white communities, Arab communities, Jewish communities, communities that don't have respect for people. Period. So we had that time to give our mentees at that time in our mentoring program. Our mentees was in charge. This is how our mentoring program was. Our mentees were in charge in taking these forms to start Respect Day in their schools as mentees, and no administrator, no teacher, nobody fed back. Nobody called, nothing. So we tried it again. Say, all right, I need y'all to take this, put this in your backpack, take this to your teachers. So we did it again. At that point, I'm mad now. So then Heather says, well, let's do it ourselves. I say, bet, let's go. Right? And like anything else, we dive in. What we going to make it look like? What is it going to look like? Well, little did I know, she was doing some other stuff, right? And she was, doing her thing. So then we reach out to Beverly Green, again, Man to Man Youth Summit. We're doing DSA, we're doing Respect Day. The kids are working on colorism and plays, and we got music, and we got the boys choir, the whole nine. And in that process, Respect Day jumps off. Prior to Respect Day jumping off, we meet a sister named Vivian. Right? And these sisters, they come because they're passing out insurance kits, identity kits, so you can fill out the identity kit so the kids can be. And her boss, she introduced her boss, which was Zach Hart. Zach Hart is one of the top agencies, one of the top businesses in the state of Michigan to work for. Zach Hart doesn't even hesitate. He gets involved. Respect Day gets a sponsor, and we on and we popping. Right? And so we get deeper. So Respect Day don't stop there. Wayne County comes in and say, hey, we're going to recognize your 30 years of work. Here's this. And now Wayne County will honor Calvin T. Mann for such and such and such. It's a whole thing. I still can't believe I received anything. Very few have ever acknowledged or said thank you. But I never really paused to get it. So we kept going, and here we are. 15 years, boy. 15 years of, and there are so many more stories so many more stories in 15 years of things that we've accomplished and things that we failed at. But more importantly, things that we continued to do. A lot of people don't know Calvin, man. They judge him. So now they see the lack or certain things or the process. So what did we say? Emiy Inc., 15 years, the theme for this year is family. What are we going to do to improve family? What are we going to say? What words we want to use to bring our families into our protective webs to secure education, knowledge, growth? When you have tons and tons of disrespect. They just said education got hit when now bus drivers and things like that can teach a class. And everybody's like, oh, guess what's the first thing you see? Well, you know, the suburbs, they're not going to go for that. What's the difference in the suburbs? Education. How valuable is education? Very valuable. When do you fight for that? When all you got is conspiracy theories, gangster mentality, whack rap music, all this crap, murder, suicide. When do you see the value or the importance of a family, of a child? When a child is born. I just had my grandson, Bug. And so seeing my grandson, I'm thinking, you just put another log on the fire. What I got to do to help make this world better? I just got to navigate the lane that I'm in. And hopefully, everybody that is doing this work multiply good spaces and places where boys actually have a chance to grow up to be men, husbands, and fathers. And not with their own eye make decisions to castrate themselves, both mentally and physically. There is a lot of wisdom in men. Men have failed tremendously in making sure that that wisdom gets passed down and is taught. We're dishonored. We use prowess over process. We use lies and manipulation over deeds and actions. We taught rape, murder, and now our boys don't want to be here. That doesn't make sense to me. 15 years. I've seen a lot. I watch a lot of people come and go. I watch a lot of people believe and not believe and said I didn't know nothing. I agree with them, but something happened to me after that Purpose-Driven Life book. I began to read more. I began to write more. I began to research. I was given a book in 2015. It had 500 programs in it. 500. It had 500 programs in it. And in the 500 programs, I remember reading every program in that book. And I remember deciding that it was something that I needed to do. I wasn't doing enough. So I prayed more. I got on my knees more. Suddenly, people started coming into my life to support and see the vision and support the vision. And now, today, We have 15 years. Woo! In the fall, we said, doubt destroys outcomes. So in 2015, I was born to lead. Faith, deeds, actions, prayer. As my boy Zach would say, faith first. Everything else is an adventure. Hold on tight. This is going to be a live year. My name is Calvin Mann, president and founder of Encourage Me, I'm Young. I thank the Lord for the wind in my body and the mind to lead and steadfast and grow. Pray for me, and I'll pray for you. And always put your family first. Peace.
Something is missing. It wasn't about taking, it was all about getting. Back in the days, they really knew how to live, because everything they did was strictly for the kids. Let's start the game over. Back to the way things were. It's all about the kids, so put your family first. Let's start the game over. Back to the way things were. It's all about the kids, so put your family first.